Welcome to our deep dive into a scenario that catches even financially savvy people off guard. Receiving a call from a debt collector when you think your credit is flawless. In this video, we'll walk through what to do immediately, how to verify legitimacy, what a validation notice is, why ignoring the call is risky, and how your credit score may not tell the whole story. We will also explore why being an authorized user can inflate your score while leaving your personal credit depth thin. Stay with me to the end for actionable steps, quizzes, and a clear roadmap from first voicemail to resolution. First, we'll outline the steps to take the moment you get a mysterious voicemail. Next, we'll discuss how to verify the collector's legitimacy and why you must request a validation notice before acknowledging anything. Then, we'll uncover why a collector might call someone with a seemingly perfect score. After that, we'll tackle the myth of authorized user credit versus genuine credit depth. Finally, we'll assemble everything into a clear action plan and a practical timeline. Now, let's focus on the initial moment. When you get a mysterious voicemail, do not panic, but also do not ignore it. Independently search for the company name and phone number. Never call back using the number from the voicemail until you confirm legitimacy. If the company appears legitimate, call using the official number from their website or a regulator's database. Ask for a validation notice. If you cannot verify the company, treat it as a scam, block the number, and consider filing a complaint. Transitioning from this, we'll explore why a debt collector might call you in the first place, even when your credit seems perfect. Before we go further, a quick but crucial disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute legal, financial, or tax advice. Debt collection laws vary by jurisdiction. In the United States, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act governs many of the rights we'll discuss, but your local rules could differ. Always consult a qualified attorney or consumer protection agency for guidance tailored to your situation. With that in mind, let's move on to why collectors might be calling you despite a seemingly spotless profile. Let's unpack the common reasons collectors reach out to people with strong-looking credit profiles. First, identity mix-ups happen when records for people with similar names or addresses get combined. Second, clerical errors by lenders or credit bureaus can create false negatives accounts that are misreported or duplicated. Third, there are so-called zombie debts, obligations that are extremely old and sometimes past the statute of limitations, but which can resurface due to data sales or errors. Fourth, identity theft or account takeover can create debts you never authorized. Fifth, skip tracing errors can lead collectors to your number even when they intended to reach someone else. Finally, there's the illusion of strong credit. A high score can mask shallow personal history, especially if most of your positive data comes from being an authorized user on an older card, which underwriters often discount. Moving forward, let's convert this awareness into concrete first steps. Here's your playbook. First, save the message and document when it arrived. Second, verify the company by searching official websites or regulator databases. Never trust caller ID. Third, call back using a verified number, not the one left in the voicemail. Fourth, request a written validation notice. Legitimate collectors are legally required to send one in a timely manner. Fifth, do not admit ownership of the debt until you receive and review the details. Sixth, if you do not recognize the debt, submit a written dispute within 30 days of receiving the validation notice. Seventh, obtain your credit reports and monitor for any unfamiliar accounts or inquiries. Eighth, if identity theft is possible, consider placing a freeze and filing an identity theft report. Ninth, maintain a thorough paper trail, including call logs and copies of letters sent via certified mail. Next, to visualize this workflow, let's examine a mind map of the validation process. This mind map places debt validation at the center. The Verify branch lists what to confirm about the collector company name, licensing, address, and official contact channels. The Paperwork branch covers the validation notice contents, itemization of the alleged debt, the original creditor, and the date of last payment, which is critical for assessing whether the statute of limitations might apply. The Actions branch highlights a dispute letter, the option to request call stop, and disputes with the credit bureaus if the account appears on your reports. Finally, the Outcomes branch summarizes likely results, including the account being closed as a mistake, filing an identity theft report, or entering a payment or settlement plan only after careful verification. Now, let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. Question: what is the safest first move after a mysterious collection voicemail? Options: A. Call back immediately using the number in the voicemail. B. Ignore it because your credit score is excellent. C. Look up the company independently and call via the official number. D. Pay a small amount to make it go away. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is to look up the company independently and call via the official number. This reduces the risk of falling for spoofed numbers or phishing tactics while allowing you to address legitimate matters quickly. Let's address the score myth. A high score that results primarily from being an authorized user on a long-standing family card can be impressive on the surface. However, underwriters often discount this when evaluating your individual creditworthiness. They look for primary accounts in your name, payment patterns over time, credit mix, and account age. In other words, authorized user history can open doors, but it does not replace the value of a self-built credit profile with depth. Next, we'll compare surface-level credit to true credit depth side by side. On the left, surface-level credit. A high score driven by authorized user status, a thin file, short personal history, and outcomes that look good to automated scoring models but often collapse under manual underwriting. On the right, true credit depth. Several primary accounts in your name, an extended record of on-time payments, a healthy mix of revolving and installment accounts, low utilization over time, and resilience when an underwriter examines the file. This contrast explains why someone with a seemingly excellent score can still be treated cautiously. This table lays out a practical timeline. On day 0, save the voicemail and start verifying the company. Within the first few days, ask for a validation notice if you speak to a legitimate collector. When you receive the notice, review the itemization, the original creditor, and the last payment date. If the debt is unrecognized or incorrect, send a written dispute via certified mail within 30 days of receiving the notice. If identity theft is suspected, act immediately with freezes and an identity theft report. Most resolutions, whether corrections, closures, or negotiated plans, occur within 1 to 3 months, though timing can vary. Here is a markdown-style checklist for building true credit depth. Open 1 or 2 low-fee primary credit cards in your name. Consider adding a small installment or credit builder loan to diversify your profile. Maintain low utilization, ideally under 10% both per card and overall. Always pay on time and consider autopay to reduce missed payments. Avoid closing your oldest accounts to preserve average age. Aim for a reasonable mix of products, for example, a travel rewards card and a cashback card that fit your spending. Review your credit reports quarterly and, if you find errors, dispute them with documentation. Next, we will visualize the journey from voicemail to resolution with a timeline diagram. This timeline shows the progression from the initial voicemail to a final outcome. On day 0, you receive the voicemail and immediately preserve the message while researching the company. During the first week, you call back using an official number and request a validation notice. Over the next 30 days, you send a written dispute if needed and monitor your credit, adding freezes if identity theft is suspected. In the outcome phase, the file is either corrected and deleted, closed as a mistake, or you negotiate a payment or settlement plan only after full verification. Now, let's try another quick knowledge check. Question: which statement about authorized user credit is most accurate? Options: A. It guarantees approval because the score is high. B. It builds deep personal credit history in your name. C. Underwriters may discount it compared to primary accounts. D. It replaces the need for any installment accounts. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is that underwriters may discount authorized user history compared to primary accounts. While it can improve your score, it does not provide the same evidence of your own payment behavior as accounts in your name. These are the core principles to remember. Independently verify the caller, obtain a validation notice, dispute in writing on time if the debt is not yours or is inaccurate, monitor your reports and freeze credit if needed, recognize that a high score is not the same as deep credit, and keep meticulous records of every communication. To wrap up, you now have a method to handle a surprise collector call with confidence. You can distinguish scams from legitimate contacts, request and evaluate a validation notice, and take appropriate action. You also understand the difference between authorized user credit and true depth, and you have a plan to build a stronger profile over time. As we conclude, I have one more request for you. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please like it, share it with someone who might receive a similar call, and subscribe for more practical guides. Tell us in the comments what surprised you most, or what you want covered next.